They threw her away. A Nigerian village story. The Harmattan breeze had begun to settle over Odogbe's village, coating the red sand with a thin veil of white dust. In a small mud compound on the outskirts lived Mr. and Mrs. Adams, a couple who had tried for children for nearly 10 long years. Finally, when their daughter arrived, they named her Mirabelle, a name that meant miracle, because that was what she was supposed to be. But from the moment she was born, murmurs started. She is too quiet. Her eyes don't blink like a normal child. She came with strange marks on her back. Maybe she is not ordinary. In Odogbe village, anything that could not be explained was feared. People whispered that the gods never gave without taking, and they believed Mirabelle was a gift they could not trust. At first, her parents ignored the gossip, but as Mirabelle grew, the strange events increased. Chickens died unexpectedly when she passed by. Lanterns flickered in her presence. Her eyes, large, dark, and unusually deep, always seemed to see more than a child should see. When she was 3, Mrs. Adams fell sick with a fever that no herbalist could cure. The village seer, Mama Orioma, was called. She examined the trembling woman, then turned to little Mirabelle, who sat quietly in the corner, hugging her rag doll. "She is the cause," Mama Orioma said, pointing at Mirabelle with a shaking finger. "This child carries a shadow. She must be taken away for peace to return." Mr. Adams staggered. "My daughter? She is just a girl." But fear has a way of swallowing reason. The village elders agreed with the seer, and pressure mounted on the family. Whispers turned to accusations, friends turned to strangers. Even Mrs. Adams, weakened and frightened, began to look at her child with suspicion. One night, when the moon hung low and pale, they carried her. Mirabelle was asleep when strong hands lifted her from her bamboo mat. She woke crying softly, her tiny fingers brushing her father's shirt. "Daddy, where are we going?" But her father said nothing. His face was wet with tears as he walked deeper into the forest, guided by Mama Orioma and the villagers. They reached the edge of Okeide Forest, a place feared for spirits said to wander freely. "This is where she belongs," Mama Orioma declared. "No," Mrs. Adams sobbed. "She is my child." "Do you want to die? Do you want the village to suffer?" With shaking hands, Mrs. Adams pulled away from her daughter. Mirabelle tried to follow, but a man held her back. Her small voice trembled. "Mommy, don't leave me." But they did. They turned their backs, walked away, and left her standing among the towering firoko trees, barefoot, shaking, abandoned. And Mirabelle, too small to understand cruelty, too innocent to know the truth, reached her hands out toward the fading figures and cried till her voice cracked. The forest swallowed her sobs. Before we continue, please like, comment, share, and follow. 3 days passed. No one slept properly. Mrs. Adams' sickness grew worse. She could barely speak. Mr. Adams could not look at anyone in the eye. But then strange things began happening. That same seer, Mama Orioma, woke up screaming at night, swearing she saw a small, dark-eyed girl staring at her from the doorway. Chickens stopped laying eggs. Streams dried. Children fell sick with no explanation. The villagers whispered, "She is angry. She wants her parents. We should not have thrown her away." On the fourth night, a cold wind rushed through Odogbe, bending trees and slamming doors. It was as if the entire forest marched toward the village. Then they saw her. Mirabelle walked slowly out of the darkness, covered in leaves and dust, barefoot, wearing the same torn dress. But there was something different. Her eyes glowed faintly, not with anger, but with a pain no child should ever carry. People ran, doors slammed, even the bravest hunters trembled. But she didn't chase anyone. She walked straight to her parents' hut. Mr. and Mrs. Adams fell to their knees the moment they saw her. "Mirabelle, forgive us," her father whispered, voice cracking. The little girl stood quietly, tears rolling down her dirty cheeks. "I was cold," she said simply. "Why did you leave me there?" No one had an answer. Not her parents, not the elders, not the seer who hid behind others. All they had was shame.
Please don't forget to click on the follow button before we continue. From that night, everything began to change. Mirabelle never spoke much again. The laughter of childhood never returned to her. She stayed with her parents, but something in her spirit had been altered, something big enough that everyone felt it. The villagers tried to pretend everything was normal, but Mirabelle's presence made them uneasy. And ironically, the more they avoided her, the more miserable their lives became. Their crops failed, their goats died mysteriously, marriages crumbled, almost as if Odogbe village itself was punishing them for their cruelty. Mama Orioma fell ill first. By morning, she could no longer speak. People whispered, "It is because she lied against the child." One by one, those who had supported throwing Mirabelle away encountered their own misfortunes. Illnesses, accidents, strange nightmares that kept them awake, hallucinations of a crying child in the night. It became clear that even though Mirabelle never raised her hand nor uttered a curse, the spirits of the forest had not forgotten how she was treated. They had embraced her, protected her, and followed her back. Some villagers suggested taking her away again, but the elders refused. "We made a mistake. Another one will finish us." Don't forget to click on the follow button before we continue. Years passed. Mirabelle grew into a quiet, withdrawn girl who rarely smiled. She helped her mother in the farm, fetched water, cooked, and lived her life silently. She harmed no one, yet everyone feared her. They never bullied her again. They never whispered around her again. They kept their distance, not out of hatred this time, but out of guilt. People often said, "Be careful with the heart of a child. When you break it, the echoes reach places beyond this world." Mirabelle carried that broken heart everywhere she went, and Odogbe village carried the judgment of what they did. Because some wounds heal, some memories fade. But the story of the little girl they threw away, it lived on forever, told in whispers at night, a warning to generations. Do not abandon the innocent. The spirits see, the land remembers. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and follow me for more stories. Bye for now.